Welcome and hello and welcome and hello and welcome. Happy Monday, everybody. Bienvenidos a todos. Thank you for joining me on just an extremely special edition of Un Poco Mas, the show where we give you just a little bit more, guys. Once again, I'm going to make this one pretty quick because I'm really busy at work today, but also not feeling that great. Got up way too early. What else is new? Anyway, guys, welcome and hello. Thanks for joining me once again on Un Poco Mas. We are talking SoFi Technologies Incorporated. Ticker symbol is SOFI. A couple of things of note. Just to state the obvious, okay, this was trading pre-market coming into the ER at $31, basically. It was leveled off there. They were holding it there. It's well below that level. They basically, and you can see what it's doing today. They're just trying to, bang it off, $30.50 repeatedly. Now you can see once it broke through, they got it down below 30.50 on this candle here. You can see it broke down to 30.49 on price fixing, but they weren't able to do it here, and they weren't able to do it here. This whole sort of you would call it a pump and dump, but it really wasn't at all, because if you look at the volume, there was a ton of volume on this ascension, and then this is low volume price fixing on the descent. So it's like a reverse Price is Right yodeler. And then they keep trying to push it back down below 30.50, I think mostly to stop out day traders, believe it or not. I think a lot of people are day trading the stock due to the extreme volatility. Now, keep this level in mind where it's testing 5 times just in the last couple of hours. And that's very unusual on a bullish day. Usually the stock will keep going up or it'll start to sell off, but it's highly unusual to retest and find support at the same level 5 times in like a third of a day of trading. And then if you scooch out even a bit further, you see this exact level. For whatever reason, this was held all through pre-market at this exact level, the night after the ER. So this is clearly where certain market makers, want the stock to accumulate or do what they're going to do. And I don't know if this was another phantom, but there was like a 13, or what was it, a 16 million share I have to zoom in on it because I can't see it there. But anyway, the chart looks beautiful, but it's kind of trying to, I think, resume this sort of ping pong thing. If you notice, it was doing back here, which is just, again, there's no name for what this is doing. This is just some weird mechanics, some bullshit accumulation, positioning, musical chairs. I just don't know what you call this pattern. Maybe I just don't understand it, but it's very unusual. Sort of have this little tiny range, and then a big red candle, small candle, and a big green candle, just sort of alternating. I mean, maybe it's just in time for the holidays. The price fixing bears just have a jolly sense of humor. They're into holiday merriment, or they're just drinking too much. Not quite sure, but anyway, I always say this, guys. Everybody's like, they'll sell off the ER no matter what. Even if the ER is an A plus, shows incredible growth, profit growth, top line growth, all the metrics are improving, more fee-based revenue, they're just going to sell it off anyway, because that's what they do to SoFi. And yes, you're right, they can do that, but they're just digging themselves a deeper hole. They don't have some magic beans where bears just like, we're going to dump unlimited shares, short unlimited shares into a ton of buying pressure after what I would argue is, I don't know if you'd say stellar, excellent, but better than good. That that growth was fucking fantastic. Brought a goddamn tear to my eye. It was so good. It was better than anybody was expecting. And then they're giving more aggressive guidance, and they're still sandbagging that more aggressive guidance. So this thing just trading below where it was coming into the ER, it's a price fixing fugazi. These guys want your shares before they run the stock up. What was I talking about just recently? Hood, you see that trading at crazy multiples, big run up. I mean, it just joined the S&P 500. It's already moved up like 33% again since. You had Palantir join the S&P 500. People already thought that stock was overvalued, probably idiot fat me included. And then what has it done? Like tripled since then? That was like middle of 2024. I had a tiny wang and a herniated disc back in the day. Still do. Ah. Anyway, oh, thank God, not a lurker's here. What's going on, J Money? The great J Money. Used to star on a soap opera called The Bald and the Beautiful. What's going on, guys? Hope everybody's doing well. Okay, so everybody's saying 35, options were 35. Now people are going to say, okay, it's overvalued on the multiples. Old pantsuit Betsy is going to tell you JP Morgan's the better buy. Put your faith in Jamie Dimon and his dour, gray-haired, self-aggrandizing, breaking his arm, patting himself on the back, the kingmaker, you know. Jamie Dimon is not a genius, by the way. What's up, Bobby Atkinson, 7930? Oh, no, don't sub, don't do any of that. Just spend time grooming your beard. You know, I don't know, get your steps in, do something outside. Whatever you do, just turn this show off and run. It's gonna crash your portfolio. It's gonna crash the market, crash crypto. Un Poco Moss has been directly responsible for 8 out of the last 9 recessions, as well as the Great Depression, as well as that whole Elian Gonzalez thing. It's crazy what's going on today with like the ICE and stuff, and then sort of back and you look at sort of events that were more theatrical, and then politics these days is getting extraordinarily real in the streets. Oh, anyway, guys, welcome and hello and welcome and hello. It's Un Poco Moss. We got Rat Pack 37. SoFi is indeed SlowFi, the king of swing 76. Don't mean a thing if you ain't got that swing. Yeah, I'd rather have a herniated disc than a herniated wang. Possibly not in the long term. Everyone, you guys got Peyronie's? You guys know Peyronie's? Little Peyronie's disease. Problem if you got Peyronie's disease, you got a little like a Morningwood situation, and you're also fat, you could easily pee on your stomach. The only major drawback of Peyronie's. Anyway, that's not really important right now. Sorry, guys, I had to type something. So anyway, yeah, they're just completely fixing the price at this level, which is kind of exactly where it was coming in, or a little bit even below where it was coming in before that ER. And they're selling cyclical credit risk. They're selling, that this is overvalued. But again, it's not overvalued at all. Wherever you assign a value to that growth is where you assign it. And Wall Street sets the price. And I'm telling you, once they own 85% of this company, they're going to run this stock up to 100. They go, oh, that's insane. Those multiples, it could never support those multiples. Because, guys, SoFi is becoming a tech company right before your eyes. And you see it in the financials. The only thing that, the only reason the tech stuff, the fee-based stuff is not over 50% already is because the lending business is just absolutely crushing it as well. And that's not a negative. It's not a negative to have a big, huge lending business that's very profitable, that's the envy of its peers, sitting there chugging along, making healthy profits every single year. And you have this other tech behemoth growing even faster and faster with better margins. The bank is not a negative. The bank lowers your cost of capital. The bank is durable competitive advantage, but it does not define them. It's like Owen Wilson said in Wedding Crashers, whatever movie that was. You're like, oh, or no, Meet the Fockers. I don't like to be painted with that broad a brush. You like doing the stock thing? It's like, well, I'm a nurse. I'd like to do some volunteer work too, you know. Like, well, they pay me. It's like my job. Anyway, that was a pretty funny movie. Very sort of, you know, Ben Stiller formulaic jokes and De Niro doing his usual, you know, comedy shtick. It was nothing groundbreaking, comedy wise or writing wise, but it was funny. I'll give it that. We couldn't sit through it now if you paid me. It's just too much. Already seen it. It's not the kind of movie, you know, watch over and over again. Like, you know, a Psycho, like Stripes or The Big Lebowski, you know, movies that are really funny. Dunstan checks in. Bronson Pinchot. Cult classic. Anyway, guys, you guys want some data points? Anybody up for a data point? You guys ever have toast points? I feel self-conscious, like a giant fat guy. And I'm also like just a big, broad, wide, you know, look like a offensive lineman who just got totally out of shape. Hey, man, back in the day, you look like you're pretty big and strong. Maybe played some sports. Now you just look like a big, fat turd. I have these internal monologues. People, of course, aren't really saying these things to me, but oh, it's a struggle, guys. Struggle bus. I just bought a one-way ticket to the struggle bus. Destination unknown. Ruby, 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 Soho. Ruby, 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 Soho. Destination unknown. Ruby, 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 Soho. Ruby, 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 Soho. Anyway, guys. I don't know what I'm thinking of. It's been 91X. Going to school in San Diego. Fat guy trying to surf, trying to fit in. Hey guys, what's going on? What are you doing later? Yeah, probably just gonna try to go surfing. Try to not die. No walk back up the cliff. No, I couldn't surf. Tried it a couple of times. Yeah, Steve is back on the bus completely. He was always bullish, but he just, you know, a little bit tepid there, you know, with the tech and thinking like they weren't going to get the multiple. But I mean, what I really respect about Steve is he's like super data based, evidence based. He's looking at the trends and he's looking at the peers and he's looking at the evidence and he's willing to adjust his. I mean, I respect somebody more who's willing to sort of take their foot off the gas and say, hey, I've been extraordinarily bullish on SoFi, but you know, this data that I'm seeing, it gives me a little bit of pause. It gives me reason for concern. So I'm not going to say, hey, I'm going to sell my shares or anything, but I'm going to say I'm watching it. Say it's a concern. That's an honest investor, and that's a prudent investor. So that's the kind of person you want to listen to, not some big fat pumper talking about tiny wings and chia pets and five heads and Midwest values and little turd like mafiosos and how all shorts are poorly endowed and have mommy issues. And that's why they're shorting these great American companies that are out there trying to help people and get their money right and create opportunities for entrepreneurs and small business people and help people save money and help people spend money and more wisely, help people understand money more, give people access to more avenues of investment, not just IPOs, you know, private equity, SpaceX, so many others. SoFi is a really unique company. Great management, best execution. I mean, Noto talked about it on Fox, I think it was. I was listening to that interview. I think I was like, you know, trying to sleep. I think I was asleep with one eye and I was drooling, but I was still, you know, listening to Noto. He's talking about how, you know, product launches are not the same as like revenues and competitive advantage. Like you can just launch products, but he's like, wait to see the actual effect of that stuff on the company, on the business. Noto understands it's like the whole company is like symbiotic. It's like an organism. It all has to live and breathe and fit together and go at the right pace and have the right structure and have the right balance. So that, yes, if everything's going right and everything's just bullish and crypto's through the roof and Bitminer goes from 60 to 100, of course, all your Robinhood guys are going to have tiny wings and Lambros and supercars and micro condoms at the club with a big bag of Coke. And, we've all been there, guys. Can't get an erection to save your life, but you got to, 3 supercars in the garage. Your girlfriend's claiming to be pregnant. You know it wasn't you. Watching Stock Mo reruns late at night, trying to figure out where it all went wrong. Sorry guys, I totally forgot what I was trying to think about a problem I was having for a tenant, and totally lost my train of thought. I woke up, I think 2:30 in the morning. I don't know. Can't really remember. But all I know is I'm brain dead, even more so than usual. Gabriel Christoph 8724. I like your avatar, Gabriel Christoph 8724. All big bulls. No, Beaver. We actually got a few bears in here. We got a few bears working in here, working from the inside. A few don't pass betters. A few don't come betters. A few tiny wang all stars. Right now, a couple of them are jogging on home because they're losing so much money on their short position. They got to run on home and get their shine box. Do a couple of wing tips at intermission. Just make a few bucks. Maybe come back and short some other great stocks. These are the same people that were shorting from like 6 and 7. And just don't quit. They got no quit in them, these shorts. Got no brains either, but tiny wing is a terrible thing to waste. I believe the great Jim Chenos once said. Oh, where does SoFi rank in bank size? I don't know. You got to look at Steve's chart for that. I stopped following all that like core. I just look at the ERs, guys. I'm not a big X's and O's guys. I'm not an analytics guy. I'm not a go inside the numbers guy. I'm not a big quant guy. I'm not a big analysis guy. Not somebody who's going to give you any useful data. Somebody whose analysis is skin deep. Like when the serious U-turders who take themselves super serial talk about the idiot pumpers. Oh, sorry, like you can only see half my head. You're like, no, go back. It's like a Phantom of the Opera situation. Anyway, so volume is strong, and they're shorting the stock, and it's going up. I don't know how much they're shorting it today. Not that much. I mean, it's just 164,000 shares, but they are borrowing. I don't know why the display is so like that, but they're still shorting, 9% of the free float. Let's see what's going on. Oh my God, the great Nautilurker once again out in nature with a Labrador Retriever. Dude, Nautilurker's got it figured out. Just basically yacht clubs and nature walks, chilling with the fam, barbecuing meats, chilling with his dogs. Guys get the zen of a bald prophet, a bald monk. I think if you take one of those singing bowls, you use those like things. If you do that around Nautilurker's head, it gives you that perfect pitch to invest by. It's like peace, serenity now. Oh, the great Nautilurker. Probably the best wrench in the business. Because he comes in and he just smashes you over the head and leaves you for dead. But you learn your lesson. You don't touch that hot stove again, do you? And you don't short SoFi again. That's the message from J Money. He's a peaceful, violent man. He's a pacifist. He's a good guy, but you're going to short the stock. He's going to basically bludgeon you with this wrench. The common area. Indeed, Richard Von Gittin Jr. SoFi is drifting higher, if you catch my drift. I'm an idiot. But you guys knew that who tune in regularly. The great Jeff Presley is here. The great Jeff Presley. 13. Okay. Wow. Already. They're moving way, way up. Can Neo touch 7? Neo can absolutely touch 750. I think Neo wanted to go through 8 last time, and it's going to come back up to 8. Neo's really, really, really doing well. We need some damn partner cars on the swap network, but I have a feeling CATL is going to shove a knife right in our back. And when I say we, the royal we. Royal we led by Bill Lee. Big Bill Lee. Lawnmower man. Say that because of his hair. Anyway, we got the great John K324. CRISPR earnings today. Okay, after the bell. Yeah, it's been a lot of action on CRISPR. I mean, thing with CRISPR is when they're going to get those progress payments, so there's not really a lot of surprise, in terms of the actual numbers in the earnings, but what you're looking for, of course, is any news that they drop in terms of data, guidance, trials. So yeah, I'll definitely come back on later in the week and give you my 2 cents, my junkyard opinion. Oh, I'm just talking trash. No worry, I'm just talking trash. But no, seriously, it's a bunch of bullshit. But so is all of these U-turders, dude. I mean, I'm less moronic than probably 99% of the U-turders talking about stocks. Talking about guys drawing horizontal lines, talking about key levels. Let me give you some key levels. Oh, okay. That's good. Put all my money into that. I'm going to have faith in you because you wear an unbranded black baseball cap. You used to teach at the high school level. What does that even mean? I used to teach at the high school level. Would you teach like at a continuation school, like a GED program? Or did you just teach high school? There's no shame in it. It's some very, very smart, brilliant people teaching high school. It's not, no shame in your game. But I just don't know what that means, To teach at the high school level. Give me a break. I used to study at the high school level, so I'm a freaking credible stock picker myself. The only thing I don't have is a tiny wang. Probably have 20 million subs. A Lambo. I can't even fit in a Lambo. Nice boat. Anyway, I have no idea what this thing's about. I wanted to give you data points. I don't know why I'm not giving you any data points, but the filings are again instructive. Let me reset this just in case anything new came across the desk here. Institutional long shares still holding up nicely, but see what I mean, guys? The institutional ownership is not even in the neighborhood of like a Hood or a Palantir 80, 85%. It's still like not even, I don't know, 60%. So they're not going to really, really run it up until they own a lot more of the company. They're not looking to make millionaires out of people living in Topeka. They're looking to get add an extra wing and another, squash court and pickleball court to their home out in Connecticut, and then buy another home down in, Coral Gables, and then buy another home in Aspen or Durango or whatever's cooler right now. Maybe Austin, Texas. Maybe Taos. Hamptons. I don't know. Watching some show about the gourmet tiny supermarket wars in the Hamptons. People are crazy. People are just insane. Way, 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 way too much old money. Talk about entitled. Horrible, horrible people. Not really. I don't know. I'm just jelly. I'm just fat and jelly. It's no way to go through life. But fund sentiment score, again, 93, very, very high. It's not what I wanted to show you, of course. But I just wanted to show you the filings because quite a few, it's like maybe 15, 20 filings again. So you see, in terms of the third, which is of course today, you have two companies selling out. Truist actually got out of their call position, which was Andrew Jeffrey, I think his old outfit. But just notice a couple of these, which I think are interesting. Bank of New York Mellon, which again, I'm not sure who's managing this or anything, but they're known to be quite conservative in terms of what they invest in. So they increased their holdings in SoFi last quarter by 32% to around 4 million shares. And then you see two sellouts and then about six or seven new positions. And then you see if anything else is interesting here. This is kind of interesting because New York State Retirement Fund, they did decrease their position by 1%. But if you look at their average cost, it's under $7. So the fact that they didn't take anything off the table last quarter, as much as the stock ran up to like 4x, 5x, or whatever it was, I don't know exactly, but their average cost, I mean, that's really showing quite a bit of confidence. And again, these retirement funds tend to be much more conservative of a long-term horizon. They don't buy, these stocks, generally speaking, for swing trades. I mean, I'm sure some of them do, but not these larger players. California, Federation of Teachers and CalPERS and all that crap. Ugh. Anyway, so filings, my point with this is just kind of tying this back into this price action post ER, this sort of wannabe sell the news that really didn't work. I just think institutions, hedge funds are seeing this for what it really is, that they're transitioning to a tech company. The lending business is a great addition. The bank is actually a positive, that whatever narrative they want to spin, but the lending revenue and profits are growing, much more rapidly than, or excuse me, the financial services and tech side, and the, driven by, of course, the loan platform business. It's growing at double the speed the lending is growing, and the lending is growing fast. And if you take a look, the reason this has to be repriced is just to, state the obvious, is they're basing these, why they're saying it's just a bank. They're in a fast growing bank at that. But if you look at the assumptions all these analysts are using, they're looking at like 16% CAGR. So if you look at 16% CAGR, you'd probably say, yeah, this is overvalued, because how are they going to grow EPS at this rate? But then they're saying they're going to make 80 cents in 2028, and management's telling you they're going to do that next year. And who are you going to believe? Again, the data is all trending to what management is saying. And these analysts are looking for half the true growth rate over the next five. I mean, it's not going to be a 38% CAGR, but what happens to those assumptions if it's 25 instead of 16? If you know anything about math, it's dramatically alters what you would get as far as an output, as far as your target price at any given moment in time, if your assumptions are that wrong. And they could be even more wrong. What if CAGR is 30%, 35%? It's not out of the realm of possibility, because they're going to keep dropping new lines of business. CLP3, our point guard, our CFO, distributing the rock, he said as much. He's like, we got new stuff. None of this stuff is in the guidance these analysts are putting together, throwing together with a little napkin math, Warren Red Balls style. Tesla at 20,000 yet? It is 2025. If you go back to some of these U-turders, like during COVID, the price targets they were throwing around on Tesla, I mean, ARK was just as guilty. If you go back, I think ARK would have said, like, and they had a great call on Tesla. I'm not trying to beat up on Kitty Woods. It was a natural beauty, which is why everybody hates her. Hey, let's go beat up on Kitty Woods. She started her own, ETF. She's doing great. She's crushing it. Doesn't need to wear makeup. Yeah, let's just go after her. Let's start an inverse Kitty Woods ETF. Because I wasn't a Gunsmoke fan anyway. Get it, Miss Kitty? Gunsmoke. She getting together with Sheriff Dillon? What? Marshall Dillon? Excuse me. Pardon me. Marshall Dillon. What's going on there? I'm fond of you, Sue. Or was it a Costner and Annette Bening situation? What is wrong with him? I'm just doing my mind, Sue. Oh, it's like, Jesus. It's like, you wasn't married to the doctor. He's your brother, so he's your kin. I'm fond of you. You already said that, Kevin. Robert Duvall's over there just shaking his head like, oh my God, I'm an Oscar winner. Go to work with this giant five-headed freak. What's up, Daniel? 177.52. Probably drink their milk with ice. Oh my God. Doilies, pinky sticking out. S&P 500 in December. Your thoughts? Institutional. I don't think it's going to be this December. I think it's going to be next year, to be honest with you. If it's this December, it accelerates everything that much further. But for me, it's how far they're off in their CAGR read and how far they're off in their product mix, the revenue streams. I just think, again, they're still underestimating this company. They're still underestimating management because they don't understand the business model. They don't even understand what they're building. They think they're just building this little flywheel to lend people more money in different ways. That's not what they're completely missing the point. They're only seeing, a tiny fraction of what this is going to be in a few years. There's going to be all kinds of revenue streams from this fee-based, high-margin stuff. It's not just going to be selling. Why would they just sell personal loans? The ultra high quality exclusive SoFi membership is the USP. They're selling the member. It's like a two-way street. They're not just selling stuff to their members. They're selling their members to other companies. They're making them available. It's like the Cutlery Corner. Those guys selling the knives late at night. We got a gross set of the Bumblebee, a dealer set of the Bumblebee. And this is coming with cases. Oh my God. Oh my God. I just had an infarction. I didn't know the Bumblebee had cases. A dealer case. Oh my God. Like, settle down. But we are making it available. How many easy payments is that on? Again, why are you buying 600 pocket knives at like 3 a.m. on a Tuesday? Well, what if one day I open a fishing store or something? What if one day I become like a whitewater rafting river guide? Sweetheart, you're a corporate accountant. I know. You never do anything outdoors. I know. But I'll be damned if I didn't just buy 600 knives in a tactical set. I love Cutlery Corner, dude. It's freaking great. As an insomniac, just watch that for hours, making those sets available. It's really, really cheap Chinese. How many people who just can't sleep and just have credit card access? Their wife wasn't there to supervise them. Right now, they just have like 600 pocket knives in their closet. They just give one couple away at Christmas and they just don't know what else to do with them. Just keep getting them out and looking at them like they're baseball cards, but there's no stats on them. There's knives. They play a little mumbly peg. Lose a finger. Oh, sweetheart, can you run me down to urgent care? Did you get out those Cutlery Corner knives again, dear? Yep. Those are not throwing knives, honey. I know that now, sweetheart. Oh, anyway, I don't really know what I'm talking about. What else is new? So yeah, if you look at the context that institutional ownership on the rise, retail stiffening their resolve, hedge funds buying, everybody's basically buying into this. And you see it just in this sort of pre-phase where everybody is kind of like, it's like a sailing race where everybody's trying to circle and come back and just hit the finish line exactly when they blow the air horn. So you have, perfect momentum. And then there's always people who are completely out of position and they're, jibing ho when they should attacked or whatever. And they were just off, or there's like a crash at the start. Anything bad happens in a sailing race, it happens like right at the start because there's just all the boats doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I don't really know what my point was with that. I got caught up in this analogy, but nobody's selling. That's my point. Only mechanics are selling. It's price fixing. You see all the hammer candles. just over and over and over. And then, oh boy, here it goes. Down, down, down. I am terrified. So they finally broke through 30.50 and all the way down to 30.34. And you see again, this reaches this point. It just, the algo is so like, I don't know, I wouldn't say like blunt, but just there, it's not a scalpel. It's like a chainsaw. Like, okay, we're pushing down. And I don't know, not for nothing, but when you look at the chart, there's been a lot of big, big, big green candles on the chart. I'm not saying there hasn't been any, I'm not saying there hasn't been any red, but look at this. This is like stepping up these candles every single time. It's a similar thing. Here you have, what is this? 17 million shares trading in one candle. I mean, it's just very unusual stuff. I mean, not for SoFi, but for anything else. There's more green. I'm just zooming in randomly, but there's a ton of accumulation going on. They're doing everything humanly possible to, get shares out of retail hands. But I mean, again, if retail didn't get off the stock at below 5, were they really going to get scared if they dropped it below 28 or 29? I mean, come on. Is that all you got? So like Jim Carrey said in the Truman Show. This is going back up through 31. Institutions are going to run this thing up just when they choose to do. I'm not saying it's going to be this week. I'm not even saying it's going to be this year. But when they own enough of it and you're asleep at the wheel and you dump your shares and your tiny wing is swinging in the wind, drinking pina coladas with those profits, then they're going to run this thing up when they own, 75, 80% of the company. So, yeah, good stuff. No, it won't reach 100 soon. A lot of people are saying that it's not going to like run right up to 100 this year or anything. But I mean, I'm just saying, people in their mind think it's inconceivable that this is $100 stock. And I'm saying, if you start to think about a CAGR that is double what the assumptions are the analysts are using to concoct their estimates. I mean, I know, again, it's not going to be double. I'm not saying it's going to go from 17 to 34, but it was 38 quarter on quarter, or year on year last quarter. But even if it's only 20 instead of 16, that's a huge difference. But if it's 25 instead of 16, that's a monumental difference. All their assumptions become moot. All their assumptions would be null and void. Toss them out. Baby bathwater right in the garbage. So anyway, no, won't reach 100 soon. What's up, Scott 2412? Well, welcome to Raider Nation. Good to see you. What about that freaking field goal? Bunch of crap. S&P 500 inclusion. No, I already gave you. I don't know, Daniel. The French. Sorry, just checked. Yeah, you guys have your whole thing going, so I'm not going to try to go through. Yeah, the baby seal Dan Dolev. What happened to Iowa today? Went down the markup. Probably back. I don't know what happened to Iowa today, to be honest with you. I haven't even had a chance to look at it. I've been busy at work, but I got to get off this video. They had actually like good results. I was surprised the stock is down. They had good results in their lung cancer program. It wasn't like banger results, but it was phase 2. Yeah, I'm surprised the stock is down, to be honest with you. Oh my God, it's crashing. Okay, I got to look into this because, yeah, this is weird. Okay. Yeah, I thought they had good data today. Potential best-in-class clinical data with their lung cancer program. Yeah, let me look into that and figure it out because I don't know why. Yeah, they had a 26% response rate in like late-stage small cell lung cancer that was unresponsive to anything else, and this is novel. So, really good. I got to run, guys. Thanks for watching. Un poco mas. Really appreciate it. Bye-bye.